If you guys are into shooting the copper bullets, man, I got a great deal for you. We have partnered with Barnes Bullets. They are world famous, known for that Vortex rifle, the deadliest, most accurate hunting loads on the planet. I like this company, guys, because I have a personal connection to these guys. Down in central Utah, my dad's got this ranch, and on the way to the ranch, you drive past this Barnes Bullets factory, and it's a really cool building just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So I know them well. These all-copper bullets provide destructive power, double diameter expansion, maximum weight retention, and devastating energy transfer, all with excellent accuracy. It's a great choice for Western big game hunters and shooters everywhere. So check them out at barnesbullets.com and let me know what you guys think. I appreciate it. You've heard my Silencer Central ads, I'm sure, and I don't know if you have reached out and contacted them yet. If you're interested in a silencer, though, man, this is the way to go. Silencer Central from the start to finish, because it's quite the process. If you've never gotten a suppressor for one of your rifles, you've got to go through and do the ATF paperwork and the background checks and all that kind of stuff. But the cool part is Silencer Central takes care of it all. It's a several-month process, and so what's cool about it is if you don't want to drop all that money right at the top end of this whole process, you just get a hold of them, and you can do like a payment plan while they're taking care of all the paperwork on the back end. I have the Banish 30, and this thing is awesome. I've never used one of these before, so I'm like learning as I go along, but what I was getting at is from start to finish, Silencer Central has been some of the most amazing people I've ever worked with through the process. They treated me like I was family, and I really appreciated it. You guys should check them out, and you can call them at 866-891-4494 or check it out at silencercentral.com. It will be worth your time, I promise. There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Tine Studio in rainy Northwest Montana, and brought to you by Eastman's Hunting Journals. Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and thanks for your patience. I know it's been a few weeks since I put an episode out, and I want to touch on that just real quick. So this is the first episode that I am going to record without my little partner in crime, Trevor, my dog. That is almost always with me in the studio when I record. He was just about to turn 13, and we lost him a few weeks ago. And so that was pretty rough. Not going to lie. I was in pretty rough shape there because it was kind of unexpected. Turns out he had a stroke, and that was confirmed by the vet, who also confirmed that like a dog having a stroke is a very, very rare thing. And so it was a crazy turn of events, because I just had him out on we have, this pond on our property. We put all these fish in them, and he loves to fish. And so he saw the fish. He's out there swimming, trying to catch him like 2 days before all this happened. And I mean, just looking like super healthy and all that. And so around the same time that all this happened, I have severely arthritic knees. Specifically my left one, and working on the house and getting the yard kind of cleaned up and stuff for spring. I overdid it on my left knee, and I kind of cranked it like a couple of days after Trev had passed away. So I've been barely even able to walk And so all that to say, it kind of put me in somewhat of a state of depression, if you will. And that's not like me, but it did happen, and so I've been kind of down, and I've had some trouble getting some guests lined up as well, and which was kind of more my fault because I didn't schedule it right in the Google Calendar. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to explain what was going on. The knee is getting back into a place where I can actually walk around, and it's not I'm not like in a bunch of pain anymore, and so it's really cut into my bear hunting season. I think that's why I was so down about everything. Between my dog that I'd had since he was 8 weeks old, he was almost 13 years old. This dog's been everywhere with me. He back in his day was a great hunting dog, great upland bird dog, in fact, which is not the norm for a yellow lab golden retriever mix kind of dog, but he was an excellent pheasant dog. And anyway, so it's been a few weeks, so I apologize for the hiatus. Sometimes I just needed some time to kind of regroup after all that, and I can't think of a better way to get back into the swing of things than the guest I have for this week coming up and kicking this series off, or I'm sorry, not series, but kicking these episodes back off. So this guy is a return guest on the Western Huntsman podcast. In fact, him and I were friends before I started the podcast, and he's just like this dude that is a man after my own heart. I really like him. He is an entrepreneur. He is an excellent hunter. He's a kind of hunter that we can all learn from and look up to, and he's always been a good friend, and he is like the tip of the spear in the state of Washington when it comes to the fight against the anti-hunting movement and the crazed anti-hunting pro-activist commissioners that they have, and he's been relentless in that fight, and he's part of the I'm going to totally butcher this, Mike. Coalition of Washington for Conservation.
Conservation Coalition.
Conservation Coalition of Washington. I don't know what I mess up more, saying Conservation Coalition of Washington or calling Joel's taxidermy shop by the wrong name. I just don't. I don't know which I'm worse at. But sorry, Joel. But anyways, so Mike Herz, and also some of you, for any of you listening in Utah, you kind of had tag soup the last couple of years. It's because Mike goes down there and he gets all the big bucks. And so I don't know what to tell you other than you gotta beat Mike up to the mountain. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, this year they have a little better chance. I did not draw this year. My brother did, and I will be down there, and I'm going to end up filming his hunt. So that'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, Mike Herz, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate you joining me, man. I'm really excited to talk to you with some of the stuff that you've got coming up here, and we should have a pretty dang good conversation. We always do. How you been, man?
I've been good. Been busy. Thanks for having me back on. It's always a fun talk.
I always seem to get all my friends in Washington on, like I just had Joel Swecker on with Black River Taxidermy. And it's like, it makes me think of what you guys are going through a lot. And so it seems to come in groups, but give us an update as to like what the current conditions are on the ground in terms of, your commission and like, I'm hesitant to go to talk to you about spring bear. I've got some big spring bear hunts coming up here shortly. In fact, I was supposed to be on one this last week and I couldn't because of the knee. So, but I'm hesitant to talk about it because I don't want to make you guys feel like shit because you lost the spring bear over there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, I just mute everybody when I start seeing spring bear coming through and just ignore them. It put me in a little bit of state of depression.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's rough. That's such a rough deal. The bummer of that whole thing is like, I live in Northwest Montana. I used to live in North Idaho. Both of these areas are perhaps some of the most, I don't know, heavily populated black bear mountains in the lower 48. And yet I still would love to come over to Washington and hunt black bear over there, especially in the spring, because not only is it, the country is just fantastic. And then secondly, it the population of bears is so robust in the state of Washington. It would seriously be a really fun spot and stock hunt.
Oh yeah, I mean, you talk to some of the people on the commission, you think that they were an endangered species. The way that they're going after this petition that was put forth by the anti-hunting industry,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, they kind of got stalled out a little bit this year for the bear, and they focused on the cougar. So bear this year for us in the fall is uh, same as always, starts August 1st and goes to November 15th. They haven't been able to touch that because they didn't have enough time to go through all the studies. Not that they would listen to any of the studies or use any of the data from the game department, but they decided to focus all their attention on cougar. And we are in a fight right now for our cougar season. Not that it's going to end, but they are trying to cut it short. They are trying to get rid of the second cougar tag that we had in the blues to help that elk population. They didn't increase the quota; they just increased the number of tags that you could buy. So if you shot one, you could go back and get a second one.
Mm-hmm.
If they capped it at whatever, like 10 cats, it was still stop, but at least you had another chance to go get a cat, and which is good because those are the most productive guys. We want them out on the hills.
Yeah.
And now they want to take that away. They want to shorten our season at the end to the end of March. It used to go into April. And then there's a sunset clause in there, and that is really, really bad news for us on the spring bear because that's how we lost it. There was a sunset clause in there. They chose not to re-up it, and they put a pause on the hunt. And what I don't trust this commission, most of them. And what I'm worried about is this: there's a sunset clause in this Cougar CR 102 that's out right now, and it has to do with the quota. If a PMU, which is that's how they label the units in Washington for cougars, population management unit.
Oh, okay.
They if a unit before this season even starts at 13%, they'll close it. And when September 1st comes in, if that unit has closed because of depredation kills from the department, they'll open it back up so that hunters will have an opportunity, but then it closes again when it gets to 20%. So if the depredation hunts still continue on while the hunting season's going on, hunters might be able to get 2 or 3 cats, and that's it. And then it's shut down.
Wow.
So we're getting the door shut in our face before it even starts. And what I'm worried about the sunset clause is after this year, that process of, jumping from 13 to 20 goes away. And if they don't revisit it again, then that unit the next year may never open up for hunting.
Huh. And wasn't there just like a cougar attack in Washington?
On the bikers, those ladies?
Yeah, the ladies that got attacked by let's see, how a Washington state woman narrowly avoided. So like how does the commission respond to, or not actually, hell with the commission. How does the public respond to the commission if this is like, I don't know if this information or like, this is top of mind for just the general public, the non-hunter out there in the state of Washington, but do you know if there's any grumbling from the public? Like these 2 ladies get attacked by a mountain lion, and meanwhile, this is all while the commission is neck deep in trying to reduce the amount of tags. So the population numbers are clearly going to go up, and let's face it, the less hunting on these cats, the more brazen they become, and it's the same with any predatory animal. Yeah, it's just the nature of things. What is there anything you could talk about from like the public perspective? Has there been any kind of outcry or outrage from them?
Like huge, but what I have noticed is people that I'm acquainted with that have never had the inkling to carry a pistol with them when they're out hiking. And these are people who don't hunt. After this attack and the attack that happened in Northern California, those two shed hunters, the two brothers, the one that died, I have friends and acquaintances that are getting pistols now so that they can arm themselves when they're out in the woods, because they're seeing it more and more in the news, and they want to have the right, be able to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing. You listen to these anti-hunting people, and they're, oh, this is super rare. You know what? Well, it's getting more and more common. So you got to stop with that old school stuff, because it's not so rare anymore.
Well, and the thing that they're not taking into account with that, Mike, is yes, it's been super rare because there's always been hunting seasons, and these cougars and these mountain lions and these bears and every other time. Which, by the way, the irony of those 5 wolves they released into Colorado, one of them got wiped out by a mountain lion already. Can you, like, isn't that something? Anyways, getting back to what we're talking about. Yeah, the rarity has been because we have managed these animals. They have a healthy fear of humans. They want to avoid humans. They know that humans present a danger to them. And now that they're getting used to, especially in the state of California, where humans don't seem to present a danger to them, all of a sudden they view us differently, and that's where they start viewing humans as a potential prey species or an intruder into whatever they consider their own territory. Whatever. And so it's always, I always laugh when I hear that argument. Well, it's been really rare. Well, it's been real. Well, no shit. It's been really rare. I don't go ahead.
Yeah, no. And the thing is people that are trying to quote unquote save these cats, they're not saving any cats. Those cats are still going to die, but they're just not going to be at the hands of the hunters, because the department still has to go in and take care of these cats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at California. They're killing 300 a year. And they haven't been able to hunt cats, I think, since 72 or 73. They're going to waste.
They're totally going to waste. It's the same thing with the grizzly bear. Like if they just delisted the grizzly and allowed, or a certain, and I know I heard on a podcast recently, it was probably somebody with a lot more credibility than me, and I don't remember which podcast it was. They were arguing that, oh no, hunting grizzly bears is not going to make make them more fearful of humans or whatever. And it's just like, I can't get a beat on that. I have to make a case against that, because my disagreement is such. Alaska has by far a much more robust population of brown bear. I know I've read this a million times. I can't remember exactly like what separates brown from grizzly bear, but I think it's basically just geographical. But anyway, the point is much more brown bear up there and much less human. And per capita in the lower 48, we have more encounters, bear encounters, negative human bear encounters. And that's because up there they are hunted, here they are not, and the bears have a healthy fear of the human species, essentially. So, gosh, man, I feel a little rusty. I'm getting all fired up with you. I want to talk about this stuff, and I'm like rusty because I haven't done this in a couple of weeks. So, anyway, there's just, I think that there is, like anything that we always seem to talk about, there's just so much freaking emotion wrapped up into all this, like you were saying with, the way California, they have to come in and kill 300 some odd mountain lions a year. It's the same with the grizzly bear. It's always the fish and game outfits that are, killing these grizzly bears, or somebody defending themselves. There was a shed hunter. I can't remember if it was Wyoming or Montana. I want to say it was Wyoming. Just killed a grizz. Because it was a mama sow and got aggressive and whatnot. And so those kind of incidents, they happen more and more frequently, where if they just delisted these grizzly bears, the evidence and the history shows that fewer grizzly bears would die. And the bears would remove their fearless attitude towards humans. Same thing with the mountain lions. And so if they start removing tags in Washington, these mountain lions are going to get more and more brazen, and more people are going to start carrying guns. The fish and game are going to have to deal with these aggressive cats, and more of them are going to die than if you just had a hunting season. So it just completely negates this pro animal, pro predator activist type. It negates everything they're fighting for, and I don't understand how they don't understand that.
They're preservationists. They don't want anything to die at the hands of man. They want nature. That's another thing, that these people are proponents of, is this rewilding. What a crock of crap that is.
I know. Rewilding.
Oh my God. Yeah, everybody just pick up and leave from North America, and then that would work, but it's not going to. It's not where we're at. We are here on the landscape. We always have been, and we need to manage all species, non-game and game animals, accordingly.
There's a couple of different definitions for that in there, that rewilding thing. Isn't that like something that some of these folks that like going barefoot at the park or something is they call that rewilding their soul or whatever back to nature, and then there's what you were talking about, the rewilding of the landscapes, where they have this very unrealistic view or intention of removing humans from the landscape, as if that's ever some like realistic objective we should work towards.
Yeah, and that petition that was adopted by some on the commission, the 50 people that are on that, a ton of them are all about this rewilding project stuff. It tells you where those on the commission stand and whose opinions they value, because they don't value the opinions of the department staff, because the department staff said that there is no danger of putting the population of cougars at stake, in jeopardy with the harvest guidelines we have now. But they didn't want to hear it. We used to have 16% more, 16% take in a PMU. They've dropped it down to 13 because they want to use the precautionary principle, which is a bunch of crap. They are trying their damnedest to take more and more away from us. Every time that they say they're not anti-hunting, they're lying, because they haven't done anything. The majority who are against us hunting, they haven't given us anything. All they've done is take stuff away. Spring bear, they're going to take away the blues. They're going to try and take away more season and opportunity for cougar. That's all they do. Is they don't care about what the hunting community wants. All they do is listen to their anti-hunting people.
Yeah, they're cronies that give them money to I am more and more suspicious, Mike. I don't care if it's wildlife game commissions. I don't care if it's state senators or federal, congressional or whatever members of Congress. I just like, there's something that I think that people are starting to wake up to all of this, like the interconnectedness of the special interests. Like it's all connected in some way, and it's like people benefit from these fringe movements and are, I don't know if they're financially rewarded or they're rewarded in some other kind of way, but I'm like, I have grown so suspicious over the last like 18 months, ever since the whole COVID thing, actually. Like I'm just, I wanted to get your take on this. Like, I'm just suspicious of every institution out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm suspicious of our government, like big time. And I'm suspicious of wildlife commissions. I'm suspicious of fish and game agencies, and not so much with them as I am like political institutions. And I'm suspicious of these big corporations that we all like have this like dependency that we can't get around nowadays, on whether it's Google or like Meta or Amazon, name your freaking conglomerate. They're all interconnected, and I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but I'm like, I don't know where to go with it. I don't know what to do about it because I'm suspicious that they control us in ways that we don't even realize. And like at the end of the day, we just really don't have any say. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. My tinfoil hat has gotten quite a bit tighter since since
Yeah.
COVID and stuff. I
I
mean,
flat I
it's
flat
hard
went
not
from
to.
not even having a tinfoil hat to now I have one. I have a big one. It's a big fancy one.
Yeah, I think that they let you think that you have some say, but at the end of the day, you really don't have a whole lot. But that's why I got into this whole thing is because I'm not going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to get my bat and get a ball and get in the game, and I'm going to keep fighting until either we win or there's nothing left to fight for. But I'm not going to be able to, turn around and say, "Hey, I wish I would have stood up because
Yeah.
now it's gone." And these anti-hunting what is Costello Mike Costello call it, the anti-hunting industry.
The anti-hunting industry. And I like
Yeah,
that.
and it is because without the perpetual wolf or the grizzly bear on the endangered species list, their cash cow is gone. If those were removed, they wouldn't have anything left for funding to get people to pull on their heartstrings to get money to fill their coffers. These people, they make a ton of money, but they don't put any money into conservation or wildlife management. They don't do anything. All they do is fight us, the small minority who is paying for all this and paying the lion's share of all these little conservation projects that everybody gets to benefit from. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the most maddening shit that I just every time they
Everything
speak
is
it.
it's so misguided. It's all so misguided. Like the beneficiaries are literally the folks trying to it's hard to put into words how fucked up it is. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just coming right out of the gate, and I'll drop F bombs still, like I always have. It's hard to put into words how fucked up the whole system is. Let's say we got this guy named Bob. Bob hates bear hunting, but Bob enjoys the conservation efforts that hunters have made through the years to put bear populations back on the map and conserve these habitat areas where Bob can go and take pictures and go post them on his Instagram page because he is pretty, proud of deeming himself a wildlife photographer. But then at the same time, Bob is unknowingly shooting himself in the foot by promoting these anti-hunting industry types that get into the fish and game commissions and make these kind of decisions that at the end of the day it wrecks things. I want to bring, because it applies. I want to bring up and I promise I'm not gonna get all preachy with everybody here, but so I go to this church, right? This little church in this small town, Montana, and the pastor, he's a badass, man. He does not he's not shy about what he talks about, what he believes, and he's like just one of my people. um, but he was talking about this a lot of this. This was a week or two ago. He was talking about this thing that it kind of struck me because I've never heard anybody put it into this kind of perspective. But he's talking about, like, we hear this a lot, that in America, diversity is our strength, and diversity is and you hear this out of the left a lot. What makes America so wonderful is our diversity, and blah 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 blah. And it's almost like taboo to question that, like that's some moral thing to say, that diversity is our strength or whatever. And what the pastor was talking about is diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. Because if and I think a lot of people think that diversity, it means we're talking about like skin color and shit. And that's not actually or necessarily what is being referred to when you talk about diversity of ideas, diversity of ideologies, diversity of all these things. And the problem is perhaps in our country, and we can talk an entire podcast episode about where this is derived from, whether it's like, this comfort of living or comfort of technology and just the lifestyle, the societal norms that we consider what the American dream is. Maybe it all derives out of that. But diversity is not our strength, because diversity means that you have a lot of different outcomes and goals and objectives that everybody's trying to achieve, and we end up just fighting with each other instead of the good old days where it wasn't like the goal was not diversity, it was unity. We all had the same end game, right? The same goal, the same objective, the same thing to achieve, and we had just maybe some differences as to how to achieve that. And I think that that's where we've gotten as a country, where we have this idea where, oh, we're going to welcome all these different ideas and celebrate all this diversity or whatever. And again, I'm not talking about skin color when I'm talking. We're diversity of ideas, diversity of ideology, that kind of stuff. They're trying to promote that while removing the unity, and now we all have these different like perspectives as to what America needs to be and what it should achieve and what our history is. Even, Mike, I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I think about, like, when I was a kid, man, I had family members that were Republicans and they were Democrats. Some were Democrats, some were Republicans. And, like, we'd get together at Thanksgiving and there'd be some debate, sometimes it'd get a little heated, but at the end of the day, it was like, well, I had the sense that they were both arguing for the same kind of thing. It was just like they were arguing about which road to take to get there. At the end of the day, well, the best thing for freedom in America, the best thing for a high moral focused society, the best thing for success for all people, all that stuff. And now we argue about whether hunting is a humanistic thing and it should even exist anymore. And we argue, about who or what gender somebody is outside of what God made them. Or we argue about where our tax money should go and to what other country it should go to, because, screw the tax dollars that should be spent here at home. Is any of this making sense, or am I just going rambling down this endless rabbit trail?
Oh, no, it makes complete sense, because, it's that same group that all they want to do is take away what you're doing. They don't like it. They don't approve of it. So they don't think anybody should do it. I don't think that being a vegan is a real good idea, but I could give two shits if you only want to eat vegetables. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm still going to be able to go on with my life and not freak out and worry about because somebody's eating vegetables. It's this do as I say, not as I do. They want everybody to be controlled and live the way that they live. And you know what? That's you getting away from. There's no. You got fired up.
No, and that's good. I think these kind of getting fired up type kind of conversations. Here's the thing, man. I feel like the mass majority of Americans today do not have the testicular fortitude to have these kind of conversations. Like, I just don't. Everybody's so fucking worried about who they're going to piss off, or they're going to offend their cousin, or they're going to get canceled on Twitter or X or whatever, and get fired from TikTok and, all this shit. And so I just, I appreciate guys like you that aren't afraid to talk about it, because I do, man. I feel like, and almost all of this comes out of the left. I mean, the anti-hunting industry, the anti-gun industry, this all comes from the left. And I guess the message that I keep getting from them is every traditional value that I hold sacred to my life, whether it's my right to bear arms, whether it's my primal, instinctual, habitual instinct to go hunting, and my love for the wild, and my need to understand the wild so that I know how to protect these species and their habitats, and my sense of freedom and this self-righteous attitude in their mind that I can pretty much manage my own life, and I don't need the goddamn government's opinion as to how to run my life. And all these things, like this is just normal American values that are being attacked as if there is some moral wrong with them. And so, like, when they talk about, well, diversity is our strength, I mean, is it because you're not really open to the diversified ideology of my way of thinking? Like, I don't want to give you all my money for whatever, tax purpose you think is going to save the planet or whatever. I don't want you to take away my guns. I don't want you to touch my hunting seasons. I don't want you to give wildlife management and conservation efforts over to people that don't have any sense of reality of what conservation and wildlife management really are, such as the Humane Society of the United States and other organizations that are part of this anti-hunting community. Or anti-hunting industry. We'll give Mike Costello another shout out because he's right when he calls it that. But and so I guess that's why, like, I feel like my show over the years has kind of taken this turn to where this is kind of the dynamic that it follows, and these are the discussions that are had, because, like, I feel and my people, like guys like you and my friends and some of my family, like, we just feel like we're constantly under attack for being exactly who we just simply are. Make sense?
Oh yeah, I mean, you've helped be a voice, all the way back to when we had this spring bear crap going on, to get this out to people, because I mean, it's still, there's tons of people who don't understand what's going on and mission and how they're trying to take things away from us. And what kills me is these people who are forcing their lifestyle. They don't like the hunting, they don't like the fishing, they don't like the trapping. These are people who are stuck in a concrete jungle, who are so far removed from nature and anything that it has to offer. It's ridiculous. You think you're going and getting to nature, walking on a trail and looking at the birds. Yeah, that's great, but that's not what we're doing. We're going off trail. We are really going back in the woods. We're not 10 minutes from a major metropolitan city.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If they want to go to the park, that's fine. But don't take what I love away from me and my children and my grandchildren. Leave us alone. Quit trying to control what everybody else does because you don't like it.
Yeah, and I think that's my biggest gripe with any of this stuff that we talk about, because you nailed it when you said they're trying to control it. And that's where society has gone wrong. I know I bitch about this whole gender thing a lot, right? I think it's so misguided and misplaced, and it disorients our perspective as to what's really important out there. But the point to that is, like, if I really don't care if somebody wants to call themselves some other gender. Where I care is when they try to force me to do it and force me to lie, force me to live this fantasy. And it's the same thing with the anti-hunting movement. And I bring these other topics into this because it all ties together. It all comes down to this fascination and obsession. And again, this mostly comes out of the left, of controlling everybody else's life. How is that diversity? How is that acceptance? But from the side of the aisle that has been preaching compassion and open-mindedness for so many years, they are some of the most closed-minded, bigoted group of individuals I've ever met in my life. And I don't have a lot of patience for it anymore. And I'm tired of my life being under this microscope of people with completely different value sets thinking that they could butt into my business. Because like you said earlier, like, I don't care if you want to be a vegan. I don't care. Do it. I don't care if you want to not own a gun. Don't. I don't care. I'm not going to force you to do it. I don't care if you don't want to go hunting. I'm not going to force you to do it. I don't care if you want to pay more taxes. I don't care. Go for it. Don't force me to do it, because I have this crazy idea that, like, the money I make is actually mine, And if I give it to the government, it's not going to solve climate change. So, I mean, don't judge me too harshly for that, but it just seems like common sense to me, you know. And so,
Yeah.
man, it must be an election year, Mike, because I'm getting all fired up about this shit.
Oh my God. Yep.
So, can you? I know I've asked you before, and I've asked like Joel and Gary Strasberg. I think I asked him this, but I'd like to get your like updated opinion on this. But with everything that's been going on in Washington with the commissioners and some of these seasons being taken away and what they're trying to do down the road, how is like your perception of how the hunting community in Washington is reacting now versus like 3 years ago? Because it's been like what, 3 years since they took away spring bear?
Yeah. Yeah. This would be the third.
Do you feel
Um,
like the hunting community is like coming at this with more of an eyes wide open kind of thing and paying more attention than they were back then?
oh, I know that they're paying more attention. They have this comment portal on WDFW for the cougar setting proposal, and it's not just the same people again and again making these comments. There's a bunch of people that are coming with very articulate and thought out comments and telling, speaking their mind, being respectful. And you look at some of the anti-hunting, and it's the same because there's a moniker on the side of the screen, and everybody has a special symbol for every time they comment. Um, and so I'm seeing the same symbols over and over and over again, just like 3 or 4 anti-hunting ones. But the ones that are all the, hunting guys and gals, they're all different. They're all, I mean, there is pages and pages of comments. And when I go to these commission meetings now, it's hard to speak at these things and get time if you're online, because there's so many people who are speaking in person now and online. There was the last time there was 140 some people who wanted to speak between the 2 days, and before
Mm,
it was usually me and Doug Bose and maybe Gary, and it
yeah.
was it has, I mean, people are way more aware. uh we're trying to just get the information out to people, show them how to get on the websites at the coalition, how to prepare speeches, stuff like that. Just things that have when we started speaking at these commission meetings, because I was scared shitless the first time I spoke at one, and it was online. But now I
Yeah.
go up, I speak in person all the time now, and I still get uh, kind of tongue tied, but it's usually because I'm pretty pissed off at the people who are in the room who are going to be speaking against me. I'm pretty passionate, and I sometimes can't speak at these things because I'm so pissed off at them.
I know exactly how you feel, brother. I trip over my own tongue so many times when I'm recording a podcast. Hell, I stutter when I'm talking to the chickens, trying to give them feed. You know, I do the same. That's what I was telling you before we hit record. I'm like, man, I don't quite. I'm having a hard time grasping like the amount of downloads this show gets, because I feel like when I listen to myself, I just sound like a big dumbass because I stutter a lot and trip over my words and whatever. Anyway, I hope that would never like, and I don't think it would, Mike, but I hope that would never stop you from doing what you're doing, because I don't know how. I don't know that if the folks in Washington, the hunters in Washington, uh, understand the depth of how much gratitude they should be they owe you for a lot of this, because like I said, you've been spearheading a lot of this.
Yeah, but it's not me. It's the whole group of people and the other hunters who have started to speak up, and they're showing the commission that we are listening, we are paying attention, and having the backing from the hunting community and the people who are engaging and asking questions, and some of the people don't want to speak, but they just want to be informed, and that's great. At least when things are coming up, they can talk to other people who may not be in the hunting sphere and fill them in, because we got to get out to the people who are not hunting, not anti-hunting, but just the 80% of people who do not hunt. That's
Yep.
where we need to get our message through, just like they're doing in Colorado. Dan Gates and those guys, they are doing a phenomenal job.
I know,
And
man.
that's what has to happen here. That's what has to happen everywhere. Because I mean, I'm gonna be selfish. I don't want a bunch more hunters on the landscape. I just want people to accept my lifestyle. I'm not asking you to do it. Just accept it and move on. And if someone asks you and supports it, that's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave us alone. We don't even, I don't even care if they accept it. Just leave it alone. Go live your
Yeah.
life. Are you that bored in your own life that you have to meddle in everybody else's life? And you think that you have some pedestal higher than anybody else because you don't like hunting? Like, give me a break. These people are out of their minds, man. Let me interrupt real quick. I want to talk about, just introduce the audience. I am really proud to talk, or I'm sorry, I'm really proud to announce that we have a new sponsor on the show. These guys are Vantage Point Archery. I met these guys a while ago and picked up some of their broadheads. I've got the VPA Omega broadhead. These are like the Mac Daddy of single bevel heads. I freaking love these things. So I just wanted to make that announcement. And I will do like a more formal ad down the road. But a couple things that you should know about this company. Obviously, this is American made stuff. It's world class broadheads. They've got lots of different options. Whether you just got to jump on their website, which by the way is VPArchery.com. But they've got free shipping on orders over $150, 100% money back guarantee. If you are not satisfied with the product that you have purchased, they will, you could send it back. They'll send you your money back. And then the other thing I like is a lifetime warranty. Vantage Point Archery products are designed and built to last a lifetime. If you have a problem with your product, we will make it right. Guys, check it out. Let them know the Western Huntsman sent you. It's a great company. Again, you guys know, like, part of my thing about some of these sponsors and the companies that support this show, because this show wouldn't be possible without these sponsors. I have to like the company. You know what I mean? Like, I have to like the story behind the company, how it started. Great group of people started this American-made, fantastic world-class broadhead. And now I'm proud to be partnered with them for here on the Western Huntsman and Eastman's Hunting Journal. So anyway, that is out of the way. Let's get back to what we were just talking about. So, Mike, I didn't lose you, did I?
Nope.
You didn't fall asleep?
No, sir.
No, I'm kidding. What else do you think? Like, if we've got hunters in Washington that they're aware of what's been going on, the shenanigans with the commission in the past and stuff like that. Like, what do you feel like? Is there something that you think hunters are missing in terms of knowing about that you want to bring their attention to, or like events coming up or things that they should know, just to help you guys, like and also talk about the Conservation Coalition of Washington. Did I say it right?
Yes, sir. You did.
Hey, it's the first time, dude.
So we have the CR 102, which is the rulemaking, that is up for public comment right now. We will have at some point here, probably the next week, we'll have a Howell action item that people can use to inform the commission that they oppose this CR 102. And then in June, I think it was June 17th. I have to look at the website, but there is a commission meeting in Vancouver, which is like a half an hour from my house, which is super convenient because I've been going to Olympia. But there is the Fish and Game Commission meeting, and they're going to be taking public comment on the CR 102. That is a big one. If people can get to that in June, that would be huge. If we could fill the place like we did in October of last year.
Yeah, that was a good showing, man. I was proud of Washington hunters over that whole deal.
Yeah, I was I was listening. I was in Utah, and I was listening on my phone at the top of a mountain. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah, super cool. By the way, you want to tell everybody about that deer you got? Was last year that great big one you got, or was that like the year before?
I mean, he's my biggest one. He's good 3x4.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is typical for that part of Utah, by the way. They don't, people don't do not misinterpret what 3x4 is.
yeah, yeah. You know what's funny about those deer in that particular area? Because you know where we were at.
Yep.
They always have really nice backs, but their fronts are super crabby. I mean, I'm looking at one right now. The very first one I ever took. He's a 4x4, got nice, super big backs, and he's got these crabbies in the front. I mean, every one we've ever taken has been that way. But
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
No, I wouldn't be complaining either, man. But you're exactly right. There's like this look. I don't know if it's that kind of real dry environment they live in or what it is, but that's very true. Super they're unique, that's for sure. And it's
Yeah,
like that everywhere. Like Wyoming mule deer tend to be in just what I see. They tend to be super tall, and same with their whitetail. They I've always noticed, like when I'm in Wyoming, the deer, the antlers are just like super tall and like impressive looking, right? And
yeah,
and then like Montana and Idaho have like these some perfectly symmetrical mule deer. And again, this is just a simpleton that has been watching for a long time, and so I just notice that kind of stuff. Like, and so it's interesting seeing all the different dynamics of these bucks, and so I'm excited. Are you gonna put that like on YouTube this year's hunt? That you're gonna be filming your brother?
well, we'll see. We'll see what the quality is. If I remember to hit record. I mean, I've been trying to film hunts for the last couple of years, but I just don't have I guess the not patience, but the willpower to try and film and hunt at the same time. I guess I get greedy and I just want to hunt and not worry about trying to run a camera.
That's how I've gotten, man. I really tried to film some hunts, and I'm like you, man. I don't have a lot of like I'll be honest with you. Trying to film screwed me out of two. Well, one was a really nice bull, and I've talked about him a bunch on this show, where the damn thing almost ran me over, and my bow got caught up in the camera that was strapped
Remember
to my
that?
shoulder. He was a great big herb bull with a drop tine on his right, and gosh, man, he comes out of the brush like I just couldn't believe how fast he was on top of me, which normally wouldn't have been a problem, but I was trying to push the little button to get my camera to start filming because he bugled at me. He responded to a bugle, and I'm like, oh man, I could hear him getting up. Like he's closer than I thought. And I'm trying to fumble with this camera. And here he comes. I see the top of those tines coming through the alder brush, and all of a sudden he is like 12 feet in front of me, spinning around. And I could have sauced him right there, but my bow, as I drew, got stuck in that freaking camera on my shoulder. Anyway, I'm still upset about it. But there was another time I was trying to film, and it screwed up a bull coming in. And that was I don't know if like, well, anyway, the whole point is I want to try to film at some point, but I don't know. I'm like not that motivated to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the fact that I don't have a tag is the only reason I'll be filming. And if I would have tagged out early last year, then I would have been filming. But I was hunting with my son for the first time out of state.
Mm-hmm.
He shot a real nice buck, and I should have been filming it, but I didn't. I was in the moment with my kid, and I guess that's more important than trying to get it on film.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. I tried to film my daughter last year shooting that little buck she got. And, I almost screwed up the whole hunt. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again. I talk to the Eastman's guys, and here's the thing, man. My buddy Kevin Estella is coming from North Carolina for this bear hunt in a few weeks. And he's with SkullCraft Survival. And so we've been talking about filming it, and I think I'm going to try. I'm gonna try to film it because it's mostly about I just want him to get a bear.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give it hell. We're going up for like 5 days. I'm gonna pull my I have this work trailer, man. This those big cargo trailers. I'm gonna convert that into a temporary camping trailer and pull all my tools out of it. Because we're gonna be camped for like there's some pretty. I've got a lot of grizz on some of the cameras I've got up there, and I just I don't like sleeping in tents and worrying about it,
Yeah.
and so it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited. I've been really nervous because I jacked up my knee again, and like it makes me like I get out of shape fast, and I haven't been able to use my knee. And so I'm just happy to report like the last few days, man, I can really go up and down the hills and knee's doing good. So I'm looking forward to Kevin coming, but I'm going to try to film that hunt. And if I learn anything of value, man, I will call you and I'll be like, hey,
Yes, please do.
here's how these slickers do this whole filming thing, man.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get.
So I want to tell you the
Uh,
story. Oh, go ahead.
okay. Oh, I was just gonna say, on the website. So June 20th to the 22nd is when they're having that meeting down in Vancouver, and public comment is on the 21st and 22nd. That was all.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. And you do not have to be a Washington resident to make a comment on the comment period, do you?
Nope.
All right, guys. Everybody listening, let's I know this has been going on. This has been a long fight. I've been asking you guys for a long time to jump on that Washington Fish and Game comment period website or website with the comment period and make those comments because they do help. They really do help. Let's overwhelm the system. So I'll probably, if you guys are following me on Instagram at the Western Huntsman, jump on there and I'll do like a reminder post. Maybe I'll make a little video and we'll figure something out to try to overwhelm that system. So I
Break the
wanted
internet.
to break the internet, man. That's what we do around here. So I was going to tell you this little story, man. I was moping around the other day. I had to run and look at a roof and I'm coming home and my knee was kind of killing me. And so I was like, man, I got to get home and prop this knee up and just kind of wallow in my sorrows over the whole situation. And I had this box waiting on the table. My wife had grabbed it from outside, and I opened it up, and the packaging said SkullCraft Collective, right? And it's this European deer skull mount. And on the side, it says Broken Tine Studio. And on the other side, it's got the Western Huntsman logo. And I just so happen to have the most perfect buck to put on this European deer skull mount. And I want to talk to you about this thing, and I want to talk about this new venture. And also, I just want to be I just want to thank you for sending this to me. Like it's like I've never gotten something so cool with like the Broken Time Studio written on it. That's important to me. That kind of shit. This thing is freaking awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell us all. Um, the company is called SkullCraft Collective, and the website is skullcraftcollective.com. Let me make sure
Yep, that's
SkullCraft
it.
Collect. Okay. Tell us a little bit about it, man.
Yeah. So my oldest son, Tim, he's the tech guy in the family, and he's always got his fingers into something. And he goes, "Hey, I got this 3D printer. What should I do?" And I was like, "Hey, why don't you make some European mounts for deer?" He goes, "All right." So he came up with a design, and we tweaked it. And this is in February, and we tweaked it and tweaked it. And the version you have right now is our final version. I'm sure he'll do a few more tweaks, but I mean, it took a lot of testing and a lot of different iterations. And I was going up to Joel's place and having him test him out at his shop because he had so many different skulls.
Yeah.
And we just when we first started, the logos that you see on the side, we thought we would be hand painting them, and that turned into a train wreck. And so we found a new process, and the process we have now is pretty streamlined, pretty detailed, uh, pretty happy with it. And my kid's like, "Hey, we should try and market these." And so we sent them up to Joel, and he's been selling the shit out of them. We've branched off now. We've got bear, pronghorn, Coues deer. We got a cougar one that I'm going to be sending one of those out to a gentleman in your former state. I think you know who it was. But I'm going to be sending him one to test on his cougar that he shot. I think it was last year, the year before.
Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Took me a minute. I'm like, man, I know a lot of people in Idaho.
Yeah. But they've got like Joel. Joel has kind of helped string us along too. He's coming up with some good ideas. He's like, if you can perfect one that can hold a bear, and even one with an open mouth, and then add a hook so you can hang the trapper's hide on it. And so I told it to my kid, and yeah, I'll be sending you one of those. But my kid, I don't think he sleeps anymore. I think all he does is on this program, and he's designing stuff all the time. I just give him the ideas, and he's making everything freaking come true. The one thing that's been kicking our ass here for a little bit is elk, but today we have a design that we're super, super happy with. And we just got to do our weight testing, because like the deer one you have, that thing has been tested to 60 pounds. Not that it'll never have to hold 60 pounds, because a deer skull a big deer skull is maybe 7 or 8 pounds.
Yeah.
They're not very heavy. And even a moose, which is another one we've been working on, a moose that I weighed up there at Joel's, it was 45 or 50 pounds. And that's a lot of weight, but we're trying to get them to where they'll hold 100 pounds.
Man, that's actually quite brilliant to kind of partner up with Joel. And you probably, because again, guys, what this is it's going to hold a Euro mount, and on the side it says the Western Huntsman, and the other side says, Broken Tine Studio. So you can label these for taxidermists. And that's brilliant. So you put the which I'm gonna mess with Joel for a minute, okay? Because he really gave me a hard time, because I always mess up the name of his shop. I called it Black Creek. I called it Black Nipple or something. I can now, we got to just remember it's Black River Taxidermy. And so I feel really bad. But that's brilliant. So you can put like Black River Taxidermy on the side of it, and so like wherever that thing gets hung, people will see that. And then for anybody getting it on the website, I assume they could submit something and say like Huntsman 2023 buck or something, like can they have like custom stuff made for it?
Yep, we do offer custom plates. I think they're like $5 or $10 more, but you submit whatever you want. We just did one for a lady in Texas. She named the buck, I think it was Tony, and had the date on it. And then on the other side, it was the state of Texas with a GPS coordinates, a crosshair of where they shot it at. So, I mean, there's
nice.
Good idea. There's a ton we can do. I sent one down to Will Christensen down in Arizona. He had the date put on the side of his, and the same thing, a location in Washington where he shot his buck. I mean, there's a lot we can do with it.
I need to get one of these open mouth, or no, closed mouth bear with that trapper hook, because I got the hide to this one bear.
Yeah,
and those are ready to go. I can order that.
Yep. We just packaged up 5 orders today. Some of them are going to Alaska, some of them are going to Alabama. So
I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding on the open versus closed mouth. That open mouth looks pretty badass too. You guys listening, you got to jump on SkullCraftCollective.com and hit the shop button, and you'll see all of that is from Joel's shop right there. That is cool, man. That is way cool. I love. Oh, and you've even got like a patent pending on this thing, huh?
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit. I get excited about. I get it. I get really excited when somebody gets an idea and turns it into a business and builds it into a brand and does all this stuff. So, you manufacturing just at home kind of thing?
Yeah. We actually we just picked up another printer too, because it's starting to pick up speed, and we want to make sure we are able to keep up with everybody. It's a family affair. It's me, my oldest boy, my youngest boy. He does a lot of the shipping and packaging stuff. My wife, she's a freaking a saint putting up with everything, but she given us ideas, and she's every order. I don't know how long we'll be able to keep up, but she's doing stickers and thank you cards to every order that goes in, and so
Oh,
and then
nice.
my daughter-in-law, she helps promote stuff on social media. So it's definitely a family affair.
God, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love this bear. I love the bear mouth one. Or I'm sorry, the closed mouth. The with the hook for the
Yeah.
hide. Like that's a great way to display a bear. Okay, here's the skull, here's the hide, right? And I just think that that's a really cool way to display and show that bear. I'm gonna get that one and I'm gonna put it right here behind me in the studio so that when I record these videos, it shows up. That's way cool, man. I'm so glad you guys are doing this. And I remember, gosh, it was a while ago, but a couple months ago or whatever, you text me and said you guys were working on something, and I've been like kind of wondering what uh what that was. And so I'm stoked to see this thing come to fruition, man.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of research and development and testing, and we still have day jobs, and we're doing this. It consumes a lot of time, but it's fun. I didn't think I would be starting a business at 50, but here I am.
Oh, you're 50, man?
Yep, I just turned 50
Holy,
last December.
holy crap. What am I going to do with you? Yeah.
Old curmudgeon now.
Grandpa Mike, I tell you.
Yep.
No, no, that's awesome. And that's actually the I don't know. It's like the essence of America right there. Like there's no such thing as being too old to start something new like this, man. It's perfect. It's such a like this. I mean, I don't want to say within the industry this kind of product is lacking, but I mean, let's be honest, it kind of has been, especially if you can come up with something really cool for A, bears, which you already have, and B, for elk. Like there is not outside of a 16 penny nail, um, something that works great for elk. Like the one I had in the last studio that people probably saw in all those pictures and stuff, that I can't remember what the brand was, some kind of skull holder, whatever. I had to freaking take fishing line because it's transparent and like tie it to the antlers and then run up to a screw in the drywall to keep this thing from tipping over.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know this, but like the left antler sometimes does not weigh the same as the left antler or the right antler, and especially if you get one called broken tines, then you got a real squampa situation going on. And so the antlers don't necessarily weigh the same, and like they just always seem to want to like lean one way or lean the other way, And so, um, I love it,
Yeah.
man. I just love it.
There's been a few different, I mean, we've been talking to taxidermists up in Canada. I sent some product down to a guy in Utah, and a lot of them, the other competitor that's out there, a lot of places won't even sell them anymore because they are, just like you said, tippy. A deer not so much, but the elk,
Yeah.
they've had them and have damaged customers mounts because they fell off.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to fix and make more stable. Like I said, the elk has been a little bit problematic, but we have. I mean, like today, like I said, we've got something that I think we're going to be pretty happy with. So I'll send you some pictures
Sweet.
after this.
Yeah,
After this
send me
podcast.
some pictures. I'd love to, like, dude, I have, when we're almost done. I've been talking, people are probably sick of me talking about it because I've been talking about it for like 6 months. We're almost done remodeling the inside of the house, and it's just slow going because I've got a new business I'm, running too. And so, um, and it is the day job now. And so it's just like taking me away from the actual work of the remodel. But as soon as the inside of the house is done, I am moving out to this studio to finish this. I've got new flooring. I'm going to repaint. I'm going to patch some of the walls. But like this studio, I'm going to make it badass. Like and I have a ton of Euro mounts. I know because I just unloaded my storage unit, so I stopped paying that bill, and I had to make like freaking 3 or 4 different runs over to the storage because I didn't want them in the back of the truck. I just put them on my seat, all these Euro mounts I've got. And so I'll adorn the entire studio with these bad boys, man. And so I just think it's cool. I love it. I have a passion for somebody taking an idea and turning it into a brand and a business and building it into something. And hopefully I just wish you a ton of success with it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You mentioned that the listeners might have a discount code for this thing, huh?
Yeah. If all new orders, if they order between now and July 1st, if they use Huntsman 20, we'll give them 20% off their first order.
All right, guys, that's a pretty good deal. And the thing is the only time you're ever going to hear that is on this particular episode because of the way things work out in the whole podcasting and advertising space. So the promo code is Huntsman 10.
Huntsman 20.
Or Huntsman 20. Huntsman 20. Is it capital H?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'll put that in the show notes. But now, Mike, one thing we didn't work out on my end. What's my commission rate?
Well, I'll just keep you supplied with mounts. How's that?
No, I'm kidding. Mike's not paying me jack shit for this, guys. And I want to keep it that way. But no, this is just I just love supporting businesses like this and people that, pursue dreams, whether you're 20 or 50. Doesn't get much older than 50, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, I'm laying the groundwork for the boys so that they got something after I'm gone.
I love it, man. I really do. So guys, in the show notes, you'll find the website to SkullCraftCollective.com. Check it out. Just go to the shop tab too, by the way, and it'll give you all the options. Gosh, I'm like about to have the hiccups for some reason, but they're not quite coming.
What are you drinking tonight?
I just poured a whiskey, man. But one of the episodes I did, man, I listened back and I had like too much whiskey. And I'm like, man, I sound drunk. I like really sounded drunk. And so I'm like, I should probably not do that. So, well, cool, man. No, I just appreciate you coming on. I appreciate what you're doing with SkullCraft Collective. We're going to put that in the show notes. And I really encourage, you guys out there listening, if anybody deserves to see their small business turn into something that is what they can consider successful, you would be buying from a guy who has put his own time, his own effort, his own money, and emotional, what would we call that, Mike? Your own emotional well-being at stake, fighting for the future of hunting in the state of Washington. So he really deserves your support. If you guys have a deer Euro mount or a bear, and it looks like we're going to have some elk and anything else. You mentioned pronghorn.
Yeah, we got pronghorn. You got Coues deer. We have bobcat and bobcat with a trapper's hide, and cougar. Those are going to be released here pretty soon. We've also are in development for a double wall mount, for you can have 2 mounts on the same hanger. And we got a pack hanger that you can hang your pack on your wall inside your house too. That's going to be coming out pretty soon too.
Gosh, that's awesome. Oh, I need the pack hanger when you get that. I need
Yes,
2 of them.
sir.
I'll buy them. I'm not saying I want them for free. I'll buy them.
Yeah, I think my kid was going to put them on the website tonight or maybe tomorrow.
I'm seeing there is some random. Oh no, it's not added yet. Okay, because I'm trying to add this one to the cart here. So, and then you can go down. Like I add this to the cart. I can pick SkullCraft design, bear paw. I'm gonna put a bear paw on that one. That's cool. Anyway, check it out, guys. I seriously, Mike deserves your support because without guys like Mike, the future of hunting would look pretty bleak. And like this show depends on people like Mike who are willing to come on this show and not be worried about maybe some of the nasty comments. Because Mike, you probably get nasty comments when you come on my show, huh? Most people do
all the time. It's relentless.
And so, no, that's awesome, man. Cool. All right, so you guys check that out. And I am I need to stop. I'm filling out all the information here. I need to just stop doing that for a minute so I can talk. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This has been a lot of fun to catch up. I need to get you on more often. I feel like we went too long since the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's always, like I said, it's always a blast. But hey, maybe we should have like me and a couple other guys from the coalition after this June meeting and see if if we're in jail or drunk somewhere in a bar.
I'm gonna have to come over there and bail you guys out.
You might have to.
Yeah. No, they won't even let me. They'll be like, "Oh wait, this is that dude that talked all that shit on that podcast. He can't come on. He can't come to Washington."
Somebody at the border.
Oh man, yeah. Let's do it. I would love to have you guys on. Actually, that'd be awesome. So, let's just stay in touch. I want to stay in touch because I do want to remind people before that comment period, see if we can get a bunch of people to jump on and make some comments. And then let's plan for that sometime this summer before season kicks off, man, before all the fall hunts.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again for coming on. Great discussion. I'm going to have this thing live very soon, and tell everybody where they can find you.
They can find us on Facebook at SkullCraft Collective. Same thing on Instagram, and then on the World Wide Web, SkullCraftCollective.com.
All right, brother. Thanks again. We'll just keep in touch, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
You made it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Western Huntsman and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on